Hello friends, Tony here, welcome. So in the previous video we worked with routes. So if I open the web routes, here we have what we have done in the previous video. We have the route for the / when we navigate the first page, then we make a post request, a put, delete, and also to get a test when we navigate the /text. But in the real world, we don't use anonymous functions. Because, for example, here we make a post request, for example, to create a new post or a user. And when we create a new user, we are first going to, here, for example, create new post. But before we create a post, also you need to make the logic to validate the data and then create new post. And this may be 12 or 20 lines, the same thing for the put request and the same thing for delete, for example. And if we have more than just a post CRUD, this file may be too large. For that we use controllers, and in Laravel a controller acts as the middleman between incoming requests and the application's logic. It's a class that groups functions, also called methods, and that handle this request. For instance, a controller named user controller may handle all requests related to users, such as creating a new user, updating a new user, deleting a new user. And we use controllers also for better organization of your code by separating requests and the logic from routes. And this makes your code more maintainable and easier to understand. And we have some commands to create controllers. Let me open the terminal, and if I say PHP Artisan list, hit enter, and here we have all the lists what we can do with this PHP Artisan. So, and we have a make controller which is going to create a new controller class. Okay, so let's clean. And let's say PHP Artisan make controller and hit enter. And we have a prompt here, what should the controller be named? And let's say, for example, I'm going to make a post controller. Now I'm going to name this post controller. You can name posts plural, but I prefer to use singular here. And also I want to add a controller at the end because we're going to use also with the models, and I'm going to create a post model, so I don't want to have a conflict with name. So let's specify this. This is a post controller and hit enter. And now which type of controller would you like? We have empty to be an empty class, resource. This is going to have all the functions or methods, so we need to make a resource, so a CRUD for a post, for example. Then we have a singleton, API, and invocable. So let's start with the empty here. And as you can see now, controller inside, and here is the path app http controllers post controller.php created successfully. Let's see. Let's open the directory app http controllers, and here we have the post controller. And we have an empty class which extends the controller. Okay, let's delete this, and because we are going to make a CRUD for a post, and let's create a new controller. But now let's name it post controller again, and let's choose a resource in this case. Hit enter, and what model should this resource controller be for? This is optional, so I'm going to skip this. Okay, now the controller created. Let's close, and here we have a post controller. Now if I open this, as you can see, we have some methods here. So the index method, and also here we have display a listing of the resource, for example, posts, show the form for creating a new resource. Here we have the create method, a store method, store a newly created resource in storage, in database. Then we have a show, so display the specific resource. So it's going to work to display a single post, edit, show the form for editing the specified resource, update to update the specified resource in storage, and then we have a destroy. Now, as we can see, we have here on the update, also on the edit, and on the show, injected here string $ID, and we need that ID to find the post, for example, and display that specified post. But if I open and let's delete this post controller, just keep in mind this in the show we have string $ID, string $ID, and also here string $ID, string $ID. But if I delete, and let's open the terminal, let's clean, and let's run for the last time the make controller. Let's make post controller, hit enter, say resource, but now what model should this resource controller be for? This is optional, we skipped in the previous one. Now let's say the model is post. We don't have the model, but let's say for now model is going to be post. If I hit enter and we have a prompt, so the model does not exist. Do you want to generate it? Yeah. And now we have generated also the model for this post. But what I wanted to show you is if I open now the post controller, yeah, we have the methods, but on the show now we don't have the string $ID, but we have the injected the post model, so is binding the post directly, not only the ID. So we don't need to find that post, is directly passed here. And also for the edit and update and destroy. Okay, now let's use this controller to clean the route here. Okay, so here we have the post, and this is going to be, for example, for the /post. And instead of using this anonymous function, we can use now the controller we created. So inside the array, we're going to add an array. Inside the array, we're going to add first the controller name. So post controller, and make sure you import that post controller up here, and call class. And the second is going to be in single quotes the name of the method. So for post, we want to create a new post, and if we go here we have the store, which is store a newly created resource in storage. So for post, we're going to use the store method, and in single quotes we add the name of the method store. Here we have a put, which is going to be /post/ID, and instead of this function, also here we are going to use the controller class, and the name of the method is going to be update. Then we have a delete, and this is going to be a controller class, and the name of the method is going to be destroy. If you see here, we have the destroy method. Then let's remove that. Here we need to specify this is going to be post ID to delete. We have a post, put, and delete, but we don't have a get to get all the posts. So let's create that. Route get /post, and we use the post controller class, and the method name is index. Then what we need is, if I also see here, first we have the index, then we have the create. We need a new route for the create method. So let's say route get post create, and using the post controller class and the create method. And then we have a post. Then we need to show a single post. So after we make a store, we want to show a single post. So let's say get post. Okay, we use a get method here. Post passing here the ID, because on the show method we're going to receive that post. So Laravel is smart enough, instead of just passing the ID and then find it here, we're going just to bind the model. I'm going to show you in the next video, don't worry. So we have post, then after the show we have the edit. So we need also one more for the edit after the show. And here we have a get method, which is going to make a get request a post, passing also here the ID, and then the edit, which is going to return a view with a form to edit the post. And now we are okay. We have 7 routes, and also on the post controller we have 7 methods here. So the index 1, create, 2, store, 3, show, 4, edit, 5, update, 6, and destroy, 7. Okay, now if I save this and let's open the terminal, I'm going to clean and I'm going to use a PHP Artisan, and instead of list I'm going to just specify I want a list of the routes. So route : list. Hit enter, and here we have the first route, which is get. Then we have a post and get the ignition, ignore for now. Then we have get post, as you can see here, and then here we have the controller with that method. Okay, post controller add index, then post request post, and for that we have a post controller add store, and so on. As you can see here we have total 12 routes. Good, but because we are going to make a resource for the post, instead of something like this, we can use just the route : resource. And here we specify the URL, which is going to be /post. And here we just say in post controller, not specifying the methods or something else, just post controller, and that's it. So let me comment this one now. And this is the same as what we have added manually one by one here. Let's save and let's open the terminal again. Okay, so here we have 12 routes. If I clean and run again that route list, hit enter, as you can see, again we have 12 routes, but now you can see on the post routes we also have the names. So you can see post index, this is the name of the route. Okay, so what does mean if I uncomment this and let's comment the route resource. Here, if we want, we can add the name for the route, and for example post index, I'm going to name this, and let's open terminal and run again. And as you can see now, the get post has the post index name because we added manually. But instead of doing all of them manually, let's remove and let's use this route resource. Okay, so now we have a clean web PHP file. Okay, and also here when we make a get request / and we use this anonymous function, here we just have return a view. Now if you want only to return a view, because in the real world we make a logic and for that we use controllers, but if you want only to return a view instead of this, we can use a route : view. Okay, and now here we specify the path. In this case it's going to be just / and here the name of the view, which in this case is going to be welcome. Okay, so this is the same as this one, but is more clean, so let's remove that. And now we have a very clean web PHP file. We created also the controller, which is going to be the logic for our post resource. Okay friends, that's it all about this video, what I wanted to show you. Now if you like such a videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, share with your friends, and see you in the next one. All the best, thank you very much.